was right on time with it, and then I hit the button twice like a dummy. Here, for Rob's sake, guys. Mulligan.
That was cool.
That
was good.
Oh, I'm doing good, man.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Got all that damn rain coming. Got flash floods everywhere. But right now, as you can tell, it's pretty much blown out. Still some clouds lingering around. Oh,
it rained yesterday, and it rained again today. It poured today. So, yeah, I know what you mean.
Hey, T-Bone.
What's up, T-Bone?
Hey, Doc. Hey, T-Bone. Hey, Greg.
Yeah, all
hello,
the
Robert.
usuals in there.
Dr. Harley. Gloria.
Glory, Dot, Evil Rick. Now, if you want to know what Evil Rick goes like, go to XAN's webpage, YouTube page, and he did one with Evil Rick. Fire starter kit. He'll tell you how to put one together.
I got one. He put one together for me. Cool gift.
Shocker. How you doing, sweetie?
Thank you, Evil Rick.
How you doing, sister?
Yeah, I'm sorry about Saturday, guys. It kind of got in depth with my brother trying to take the bolts out of his bumper on his 65 Mustang. But I did watch the show. It was a good show. And Rob, watching the cameras, you can tell it's a $50 camera. But yeah, I think you did a good job. Do you talk in it or anything? Because I got the volume down.
I ain't talking. Well, now I'm talking.
No, in your video that you got out.
No, I ain't talking.
Okay. Yeah.
Is this the
share the link with people?
It's my first. Well, it's my second video attempt, but it's going to bike night, and I loaded up the Canva, and I can't figure out how to put music over the sound of the motorcycle for some reason.
You can mix it in. You should be able to mix it in where you got the music and
but Mark's the genius on that one.
Still at work, huh?
I ain't no genius, man.
Dinner, Dixie said he's eating dinner. Driving down the road. Be careful.
All right, I will.
Yeah, old Dart, he is working again, back out there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I don't
know I'm over here.
I don't know why I was thinking Philadelphia was a state. Sorry.
I'm over here at over here by 7 Point Resort. There, out of Somerset.
Yeah.
So it's a small little Cohen store. So I'm delivering that gold.
Yeah.
That liquid gold.
Green liquid gold.
Yeah, it's dirty.
Yeah, the reason that I got everybody in here tonight was I would really want to know, do you think this new icon Fatboy is going to save Harley's skin this year? You don't think so, huh? You think they're going to sell all 1999?
I'm going to put it this way. That's too much damn chrome. That's all I got to say about it. Too much fucking chrome. That's fucking... You don't see it. The sun would beat down on it and reflect so much off of it, a blind airplane.
Now, I watched Laidlaw's video and I watched Pro Monkey's video, and Pro Monkey says he was surprised that it doesn't blind you. So, yeah, because that's what
like I said, it's just that's gonna be more of a show bike. That's all I gotta say about that. You know.
Yes and no, because people are gonna make it their own. So technically, it's gonna be a one-of-one bike. You know,
Right.
you're gonna put handlebars on it. You're gonna change the seat on it. You're gonna. I would personally put solid wheels on it because that's what a Fatboy has is solid wheels.
Yeah, but there's a downside of that. You get that crosswind, man. It fucking just pushes you.
Nope, it wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't be taking it on no touring adventures. That would be my bar hopper.
Uh,
Harley's in big trouble. Yeah, okay. You're gonna have a show about Harley in big trouble tonight too. Okay,
Yes,
well,
he will.
we're gonna see what this icon does. Previous years, the icon has done pretty well for Harley. You know, they've had 5 of them now. Damn, I need a scanner like J-Man. Got to look up parts. Oh, that's his
I
computer.
see it.
Yeah, that's my computer. Exactly.
I watched a video. Um, God, what's her name? You
Yeah,
know her,
we'll be right
Jamin.
back. Huh?
Um, I was watching a video, and I can't remember the channel's name because it's not in my. Maybe it is. He was the
He's
one
got
that
the
wore
100th.
the
He's got
swimsuit.
the 100th anniversary, Fat Boy.
Meg's motorcycle.
Meg's motorcycle journey.
Okay.
What about it?
Now tell me, what dealer is going to let you sit on a bike, a brand new bike that's just been sold and started up? If it
uh,
hasn't,
If you
none
know
of the
the
dealer.
dealer, if you know the dealer, any of them will let you do that.
because Meg's motorcycle channel did just that. And she goes,
Yeah.
I want to take it for a ride. And it's like, really?
Yeah. They said, well, maybe if they get another one, they'll let me take it for a ride. No, that bike's gonna be a cash, and then you can ride bike. Yeah, I love the '03 Fat Boy, the 100th anniversary. I love the 100th anniversary Heritage too. Rob, it separates the video soundtrack. Yeah, on your timeline. Yeah, to be able to drop the soundtrack. Yeah, I know what he's talking about there because
I got to,
I have been able to edit videos in the past. It's just my crappy computer here.
let's see, I
Doesn't
got to
do a very
figure
good
out
job.
how to do that with Canva. I hit the audio to put an audio track in there and said, oh, your
Yeah,
audio
you
track is too short for the video. It's like, really?
put 2 of them in it.
Yeah, you go. That's where you add on to it. But yeah, that's what we're getting off topic here. This whole icon thing. It might do well, but it's not gonna save them. They're so financially. It brings up the question and everything. What did they do with the freaking money that was when Biden was in office? You know,
That $89 million or something.
yeah. And that was supposed to revamp the York plant. Not even 3 months after they got the money, they announced that they're shitting their bikes over overseas. And you also look at who was running the thing at the deal. I mean, he was making it more woke than anything. And I don't know about this new CEO and CFO they're going to be putting in place. So and then again, I really have been looking at it too much and stuff. I've been more focusing on other things.
Did you drop the link, Rob?
Yeah, I dropped it in there.
Harley Davidson
So
would just go in partnership with Eagle Rider. Well, doesn't Eagle Rider aren't they part of Harley?
yeah, they are.
How it was back in the 70s and 80s, then either closed in New York, Pennsylvania, or Milwaukee. Oh, you want them to close one of the dealers? I don't know about that. What's happening, T-Bone?
The York plant was supposed to be converted over to the electric, so that they can produce their electric bike.
Hey, Steve.
Not a
And that was all.
Savior, huh? What's happening, Donna? How you doing, T-Bone? What you got?
Oh, I'm doing good, guys. How y'all doing?
Hey, T-Bone, how you doing, man?
No, maybe better than last week. I got called away about as soon as I clicked on last week.
Right.
I turned the phone off this time.
So, what's your thoughts?
You know what, guys? I've actually got a little bit of insight on this because I've talked to somebody at Harley Davidson about this. They don't expect that this is going to save the company. If y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, I made a video talking about 2027 being the 70th anniversary of the Sportster.
Right.
Yep.
And I also said in that video they didn't need to give us any BS apologies. They just we needed actions, not words.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the Fatboy wasn't originally scheduled to be the icon bike this year. I heard that Bill Davison was the one who decided to pull the trigger on the Fatboy this year as the icon model. Because what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to, over the next 2 years, they're going to try to piggyback off of Willie G. Because they figure there's still enough of us core people who, no matter what, we love Willie G. So I think that they're thinking that if there's enough Willie G stuff thrown out there over the next couple of years, it'll help them. And maybe it will.
In all reality, what will really help them? Freaking drop the prices.
Well, and that'll come. That's going to come. They're going to have to do that. They don't. If you look at them right now, if you look at the motor code right now, they do not have an entry level motorcycle.
They don't.
No, they don't.
Because
They consider the
you know what they done. But the trouble is that Sportster S just is not an entry level motorcycle.
No, definitely.
It's basically a motorcycle nobody wants.
Well, with as many people,
you got to remember.
Go ahead, Dark.
I was gonna say, remember they came out with that bike that had a little 500cc in it. Hey, you know, here it is. You got it. It was supposed to compete against the Honda Rebel, which is 250, but then you got the Honda Shadow that has a 750 in it. So it was like a mediocre bike, and nobody really bought it. Yeah,
the 500 didn't do good, Dark, but the 750 did pretty good. They sold crap out of the 750s.
They didn't do good enough for them to keep it, though.
Well, actually, if you look at the sales of those bikes when they very first came out, the 750 was pulling good numbers. They just wanted to do away with all of the entry-level motorcycles, so we got chopped.
Yeah, because they wanted to go all 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also appeasing to their stockholders, and the board members.
Well, that
didn't help either.
That's what their big concern became, was the board
members. Steve says neither the 750 or the 500 sold really well. That's why they quit making them.
Well, I mean, the 750 at least got people in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 750s. I mean, we've got a guy in our riding on Ruby, and dude, he loves his 750.
I watched videos on the 750, and it was a pretty sharp-looking little bike.
Yeah.
Well, you got to look at it. That's the 500 and the 750. They were chopping them, making them into like the dirt bikes. It was that kind of a good platform.
Yeah. Well, and like you're saying right there, Dark, with the platform, I don't care what Harley Davidson does, they're never going to have a platform as versatile as the Sportster. The Sportster was their platform.
Oh yeah. I mean, that goes back all the way to the freaking World War One and shit.
Yeah. What? That sounded like something exploded.
Yeah, Dark. What the hell are you
That's me
doing,
throwing the hose in the tree.
Dark,
I ain't go boom boom yet. I didn't go boom boom.
Nice.
Oh man.
How you doing, Fat
Hey, back guys.
Well, that's why.
Harley's giving away the Sportster S to whoever will take it and start doing modifications to. There's a lot of them out there doing modifications to, and we'll see what comes of them.
What everybody has always said, and I've been watching this in a lot of videos lately. Everybody keeps talking about how behind the times Harley Davidson's tech is. Harley Davidson's doesn't need to worry about tech. We don't buy Harley Davidsons for tech. Now, the new generation might want the screens and all of the Bluetooth stuff and all that. And that's fine to offer that, but you also need to remember your core customers, and that's what Harley Davidson walked away from. When I jump on a motorcycle, I don't give a damn about a 7.5-inch screen that tells me how much PSI is in the tires, and I don't give a crap about all that stuff. I want to ride my motorcycle. Give me the speedometer.
If you need different modes to ride your motorcycle, you really I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's when I'm watching these people who are doing these moto vlogs now, and they're talking about all this tech, and half of the time they don't think nobody's paying no attention, but half the time they're riding their bike, they're complaining about the tech.
Yeah, not even using the tech.
Yeah, they're just complaining about it more than they're using it.
Well, speaking of
fortunately,
tech, go ahead.
Fortunately, what attracted me to my CVO was the paint job and the motor. All the other stuff was just a bonus,
Yeah.
And I do the long haul, so I mean, with mine, so he just now the Google Map and all that stuff. I don't use the map that much, because pretty much I pick a road and go, and I plan it out ahead, so I got it in my head.
Yeah,
which way I got to go.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
Well,
Dixie boy, that was. Go ahead, Jamie.
Dixie boy saying he's surprised that they're not going to try to bring back the Sportster. They're not going to do that because it wouldn't pass tech. The engine was too old. It wouldn't pass the emissions. So why bother?
I see you now. I think they will. I think they're going to try to reintroduce it for the 70th anniversary. They can get it to pass. I think they'll reintroduce it. And then I think when it sells good, they will just quietly put it back into the catalog and start selling them again. Oops, or bad.
Well, the Dyna, I mean, I think they're going to bring back the Dyna too.
Yeah.
They want the Dyna. They want the Dyna. I think they'll bring it back.
Yeah, I think you'll see the Dyna come back in some form too. I mentioned that in a video the other day on my channel. I was talking about them bringing back bikes. I don't know if it'll be the Super Glide or if it'll be the Wide Glide, but I think some version of the Dyna will come back eventually.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. That might save Harley if they brought an entry level bike in and the Dyna back. That might save it.
Yeah, and Fat Glide, I think that's exactly what they'll do. I think they'll put that 1250 Ride Max into the old 1200 chassis. They'll beef it up a little bit, and then they'll release it as a specialty model. It'll be a throwback.
Why wouldn't they just put the Milwaukee 8 heads on the on the Sportster engine? It was a shovel head engine. They went to an Evo engine.
They can. Yeah. I've been checking into all that. There's a lot of things they can do with that platform to reintroduce it.
Yeah.
And obviously people want it.
Yeah,
You know, obviously people want it.
The only bad thing is the Sportster 883, for example. That was the entry level bike there for the ever and ever. You know, you bought that, and if you had it 2 years, you were lucky. You know, unless you chopped it out. But,
well, you know, those bikes, we often hear them talk about them Sportsters. Those are heirloom bikes. Hell, you're going to pass that down to your kids, to your grandkids. I mean, I know Sportsters right now with 180,000 miles on them that are still firing up and riding down the road every day.
Mm-hmm. Bye, Shocker.
Yeah, later, Shocker. Yeah. But, you know, it's obvious they're going to have to, and they're not going to grandstand. They're not going to just be blatant with everything. I think they're going to move behind the scenes, and they're going to, because look, I've said it before in videos, they know how to save themselves.
Yeah.
It's woven into their DNA. They've had to do it too many times in the past. They've had to save themselves too many times to just let it roll over and die now.
After being here for 120 years, yeah, I think they'll save themselves.
I agree 100%. I don't think they're just going to roll over and die. I think they're, but now, like I said, I don't think they're going to grandstand. I don't think they're going to make no big gestures. I think they're just going to quietly do it. And then, you know, say, our bad, here it is. This is what y'all wanted. Here it is.
Evil Rick says if they put a bunch of add-ons on the Sportster, then they change it to 20,000, they ain't going to sell any of them. Well, you don't put any add-ons on. That's for the person who buys it, because that's what the Sportster always was, something for you to put your hand into, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree, Fat Glide. 10K, that's the number they need to be at.
Right.
Yeah, for an entry-level bike, yeah, definitely 10K.
Yeah. You know, I understand that the days of $7,000, $8,000 are over.
Well, Kawasaki's still got a $7,000 bike, and I believe Honda's the Rebel is still under 7,000. The little.
How you doing, Lolly?
Hey, Lolly.
How you doing? You're okay. You don't have to ever worry about being late.
No. You're here before the end of the show, so you're on time.
Yeah, did Frogzilla get his bike up and going yet? Speaking of Sportsters. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a minute.
Man, I think you know, when you think about the Sportster, you're talking about a model that is so versatile. It can be a chopper, it can be a bobber, it can be a cafe racer, it can be a trike. There's so many things you can do with the Sportster. It ain't even a dirt bike. You can turn the dang thing into an enduro bike. I mean, has there ever been another motorcycle in history that has been as versatile as the Sportster?
I couldn't say that I have seen one. No.
outside now,
like Steve said,
for my mom,
started on a Honda 350.
Yeah, I did. I started on a Honda XL 350, 1976 model. That was the very first street bike my dad ever got me.
Yeah, my first street bike was a 73 Honda 350.
Hey, Froggy.
Well, my first one was a 77 Yamaha 650.
Now, the 750 Honda, the 4-cylinder, is also another bike that's like the Sportster. It's perfect. I've seen them done any way you can think of. Chopper, bobber, cafe racers. And that's why they'll always be a soft spot in my heart for the 750 Honda. I'd love to have me an old 750 Honda chopper.
Yeah, it's a lot of people took them shadows and made them choppers.
Yeah,
you make it to what you want. That's what Evil Rick's saying. 750 Honda.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty much any bike you want to put your hard-earned money into is going to be what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what I've stated, I've talked about it in other videos, and I know Shadow's heard me say it. I know people right now who can afford Harley that won't buy it just because they're not a fan,
Well,
and that's fine. You don't have to be a fan.
Shadow he's been a diehard Harley hater for I don't know how long.
Well, they sit and they leak,
But yeah, you've been talking
But they
about
don't.
getting one, so I don't
They
even.
don't leak. They just mark their territory.
Well, that's what you call it.
Yeah, they don't leak. They just mark their territory.
They make sure that they get a fresh oil change every now and then.
Right.
Metrics don't leak oil. You don't have to worry about that. A Harley leaks oil. There's something wrong.
Well,
Yeah, I remember those, Steve. Yeah, absolutely. The Harley 350 Scrambler. Yeah. My mechanic man's actually got one of them in his shop.
yeah, Harley 350 Scrambler. Yeah, it probably leaked like a sieve too.
No, God.
I
Yeah.
remember.
But
I
man,
remember the Italian 125. Now, see if Harley would do something like that again. Bring them little bikes out as party bikes, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring them little small bikes back out, them 350s, 500. Yeah, exactly. Bring them bikes back out, give them to people for under 10 grand, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd sell them a bunch of them. His flathead leaks, his other Harleys don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, Greg, I'm with you. I got two twin cams, and neither one of mine leak.
Give it time. Give it time.
I don't know. My road team's got just a 50,000 and some change, and she still don't leak.
Is AMF still around? Because I thought that company went completely out of business.
That's a bowling company, man.
Wait, that's who owned Harley back in the day, dude. From 1970 to 1980 something.
I would think they're still around.
There's still some couple bowling alleys open underneath the AMF, Joe.
Old AMF days, what everybody says.
Yeah, I can't bash AMF boys because I'm gonna be honest with you right now. If it hadn't been for AMF, the modern Harley as we know it wouldn't be here.
You got that right.
True.
You get that right on the head. It would not be here without AMF because they AMF, they bailed them out in 1970, like somebody's probably gonna do today.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I got no hate for AMF. I mean, I hate to get one in my own collection because of how much work has to go into them, but still, I don't hate on them because without them, we wouldn't have our modern Harley today.
Yeah.
I actually watched a pretty good argument the other day. Go ahead, Dark. Yeah.
I say Wheels of Time has a couple of the AMF bikes in their collection.
Mm-hmm. How those 75, 76, 77 shovel heads that AMF put out, man, those are big collector's items today.
Well, everybody wants to went to the knuckleheads. Everybody wanted the knucklehead. Now everybody wants the shovel head because the knuckleheads ran out pretty much.
Yeah. Well, people got to hold the panheads and the knuckleheads, and they're just not letting them go.
Right.
I just want a bike that runs, man.
Hell, for a panhead, you're gonna pay $40,000, and that's been chopperized.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid, you could get the panheads and knuckleheads cheap. Nobody wanted them back then. This is 40 years ago. When my dad was fucking with them,
I had a 91 Evo back in the 90s. Dude, I hated to even go anywhere where there was other motorcycles because all I heard was buy a real motorcycle, get a shovel head, buy a real motorcycle, get a shovel head. And then I got a soft tail. They say, nice swing arm, pussy. We call women soft tails too. I'm like, you know what? Y'all ain't even right.
Yo, ain't even right.
And I'm
Well,
like, you know
I'll
what?
point that out. Scooter Trip Scotty, that's all he tries to buy is bikes with the Evo motor on it
Evo,
because it's so easy to work on.
That shit, dude. The Evos are bulletproof. I mean, they're bulletproof. Those things will take a licking and keep on ticking.
Yeah. I love my old Evo. Yeah,
Last
Steve
one I
said he
had
had
was on
one
that.
next time.
Yeah. The last Evo I had was the '97 Super Glide. I had the one I called Blue Moon on the channel. No, I lied. Joker's a Evo, but he ain't an actual Harley Evo. He's a RevTech Evo.
124.
Yeah, but you put the cam and everything in that one.
What size motor is it? T-Bone.
It's the 100. It's the 100 inch. It's a 100-inch RevTech.
Okay. 100-inch RevTech. Ever comes out with a pecker head.
Oh God.
They call me Richard Crack. What? Cranium? Richard Cranium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can build an Evo motor
Evos.
strong and powerful. Yeah, but they don't
Oh
ever
yeah.
get enough. They don't get enough horsepower, man. If you get 100 horsepower out of an Evo, you're pushing it. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that the Evo can be stretched out, but I mean, I know I'm about to sound counterproductive to everybody in here who loves to build fast motorcycles. I don't really care about fast motorcycles. I love to just kick back and ride. When I was younger, it mattered, but I don't really care about fast motorcycles. I like to get out of its way. I want it to be able to go on with traffic, but
Okay.
I just seem to have one because that RevTech engine on mine's, they say it's got 114 horsepower. I think it is 114, 115 horsepower. And I don't never use half of that horsepower.
Right. Yeah, everybody's telling me they got 140 horsepower out of one, 127 horsepower out of one. Yeah, I guess you can. As much you want to spend some money, lose your
Yeah, I've seen
reliability.
Evos. I've seen Evos with 140 horsepower before.
Okay. But yeah, like Steve
I
just
rode
said,
them.
though, you're probably working on it all freaking time.
Well, if you're building a motorcycle with 140 horsepower, you plan on working on it all the time.
Yeah.
That's the opposite with me. I just wanted to be able to, do what I needed to do and survive. And, just like you said about the Evo being bulletproof, I mean, the 117, I already had it rebuilt at 40,000 miles due to the fact that, the old tubers got clogged up, with the heads. So I got past the oil filter somehow and ended up clogging it up and ended up burning it up. So I just like to, be reliable and, get me from point A to point B and, and enjoy the ride.
Don't get me wrong,
Well,
I still love to do 100 mile an hour, but
yeah, I don't like to do it for long periods of time.
Not long periods.
I cut it with you, Jay, man, when we had to make your runs for your van to do your repairs on your van. So, yeah, when it's time, I'll cut down to it. But I don't want to end up destroying the motor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Dr. Harley. He rode his 140 horsepower Evo from Connecticut to Sturgis with no issues. But when you got back, how long was it before you had to fix the cam or the lift? 66 still run hardtail. Well, that's because you're used to a hardtail. Look at you. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, a hardtail put me in the hospital. My back's so screwed up.
I think it would beat your kidneys to death, man. I wouldn't want one.
Last
If I had a
hardtail I had,
chopper, I
it
would
didn't
make
take me but about.
Go
I
ahead.
had a hardtail, and it took me about a month. I traded it to Milkman, my mechanic. He had another bike, and I had a hardtail. It was a chopper, and I told him, I said, I am not interested in this. And then he got rid of it about 2 weeks later. He said, "Oh my God." He said,
Yeah. Oh, hey, Doc Harley. I had a check engine light the other day on my bike, and it was for the wait a minute, HR CM. Yeah. Head remote control module. Head remote control module. Yeah, okay. And I was like, what the fuck is this thing? Come find out it's the switch. So I may be having an issue. Heavy horsepower is a hard thing to top on and the blade. You ride it and build it right, it will hold together. Leave your woman out of this. But yeah,
See,
I can't believe I had another engine code on this damn thing.
So Tebow, have you got any wind of who's going to be the new CEO, CFO, and stuff like that?
if there's any wind of it, brother, they're keeping it tight to the chest right now. They're not letting anything slip. A lot of people are leaning toward Bill Davison.
That's what I was just going to say. That's what they're leaning towards is Bill Davison.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's going to be Bill Davison, and which makes sense. I mean, if you're trying to, and basically what you're going to see over the next 2 or 3 years out of Harley Davidson is damage control. They know that they can't just offer a bullshit apology, so I think they're going to be trying to get the nostalgia back as quick as they can. And if you put Bill Davison in there, you'll accomplish that to an extent. But until they get the prices down, nothing's going to happen.
Well, like you were saying, they're talking about Willie G stuff, and that would be the perfect thing is to have Bill Davison become a CEO and then come out with a Willie G motorcycle. You know what I'm saying?
And that's in the pipeline. That'll come. Come. It almost happened with this Fatboy that they put out this year, but they got in a rush and had to get something out real quick.
Well, I mean, Willie G did envision the thing, back in the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Gray Ghost
and the other bike.
Well, I mean, when you look at modern motorcycles, if you look from 1976 all the way through to now, Willie G's fingerprints is all over everything. From the Super Glide to the Wide Glide to the Fatboy to the Springer, Night Train. I mean, Willie G's fingerprints is all over everything.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, he's chief designer for how long? 30 years?
Yeah. Well, and Willie kind of understood, because if you watch all those old videos of Willie G, he didn't just sit in a boardroom and say, this is what we need to do. He jumped on his bike and he went and rode. He went to chopper shows. He went to bike events. He saw what the people were doing. And that's how he came up with the 1980 Wide Glide. Their first factory chopper was because he was going out, seeing what people were doing to their bikes. Yeah.
Well, and people say he stole a lot of their ideas, like Denver choppers. He said that Willie G came to his shop back in the day. This was a story that he came to Denver's shop and freaking basically copied the Super Glide right off of one of his bikes. So, I don't know.
I've heard that, but the counter argument I heard to that was kind of like what they told William Harley back in the early 1900s. Why didn't you patent it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't patent. Yeah, it's not your idea.
I mean, it's
like you said, he was a people person, and he went to the different events and talked to people and find out what they want, and You know, that's where the whole club style comes from. That everybody's fixing the bike to look like. You know.
Well, you got this thing going on right now with the Lowrider ST with the fairing and everything. Hell, that ain't nothing but a 1980s FXR touring FXRT. That's all it is.
That's what they're trying to make it. Yeah.
Now, back in the 80s, everybody was jerking the fairings and bags off of that stuff and throwing it in the corner of the garage, and they were lowering them and
running without that shit. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think with this Fatboy, this is I think what this is it's a kind of a opening the conversation to hopefully be able to do something to help themselves. Because, like I said, you know, we can repeat it for months on end until they lower the price. It's not going to help them, but they also have the knowledge to save themselves. It's there. All they have to do is just repeat history.
No, I'll give you a prime example. I went to Harley Davidson today for my local one and stuff, and they have the CVO. Don't even have the tour pack on and stuff. All that. It's the 121, and then you have the rear speakers, and they want $44,000 for it. I mean,
yeah. I'm sure for that price they would throw in the bag and that, wouldn't they? Or no?
Well, you got to go back to where, like my bike, it's a CVO, and it had the full tour pack on it and everything.
Yeah, that's what.
Radio, all that. So you're getting less and costing more. Only thing difference is you're getting that 121. But you got to look at that. Not even a year after I bought not even 7 months after I bought my bike, they came out with the 131. And then the 131 to the 128, and the 128 to now the 121. It just is finally happening. But you have like Drew, with rolling throttle, Doc Harley and everything. They taking these bikes, even Kevin Baxter. You tell him exactly what he wants. He'll build it to what you want it to do what it needs to do, and you can get 200 horses out of these damn motors now to the rear tire.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, and I'll tell you something too, Dark, over the last couple of years, they've really been hanging it on that 143. They've been shoving that 143 engine on every special model they can come up with as a road glide.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but you're going to pay for that engine. You're not going to get it right off the factory floor.
Well, there's the deal right there. You can get that motor for $16,000 from the factory. The 131 was freaking $10,000.
Right.
So I mean,
well, it falls back too on why would you want to stage your Harley Davidson when you can just buy a 131?
Right.
And then you have to stage it. It's like what the hell, And then it becomes 143. So what are you gonna do?
Well, what people are not going to do is what that guy thought they were going to do, is keep giving them all their money for nothing. That's
right.
Yeah.
When people started walking away, somebody went, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, horsepower and torque. Money is no matter what engine you run. Yeah, money's no matter on what engine. Well, like I just said, if you spend the money putting stage things on your bike, like if I went on my bike and I put a intake and an exhaust on it, I got stage 2 or stage 1 or whatever. And then you just keep adding up, and you might as well just buy the 131 or whatever you're wanting to go with in the first place.
Yeah.
Parts and accessories should be a little more advanced throughout the dealership, or have something where they can go directly to one-stop stores.
Well, that may be coming up too. I mean, there's dealerships closing everywhere.
Well, are they still closing? Because I know they were a couple of years ago. They were closing all kinds of dealerships. Are they still closing?
They're still closing. Yeah, they're still closing. They shut one down here.
Your mom and pop ones are closing here. Well, I personally, in the greater Cincinnati area, have 5 freaking dealerships, all within 100 miles. So I think that's.
I've got 2.
Well, I'd say for me, I got 2 within 45 miles of each other.
Yeah.
So. Here out to the Pennsylvania, and then right up there at State College.
Actually, I lied to you. I've got 3. I've got one in I've got White Lightning in Chattanooga. I've got Thunder Creek in Dalton, and then we've got Smoky Mountain Harley Davidson up in Maryville, Tennessee, and those are all within about 2 hours of each other.
Yeah.
So
I forget. I'm sorry. Let me think about it.
Go ahead, Dork.
1, 2, 3. Within an hour and 30 minutes from me, there's roughly 7 Harley Davidsons.
Wow.
Well, yeah. If you want to go 2 hours, I can put about another 3 to 5 in there. So yeah, there'll probably be 7 to 10, and within an hour and a half.
But that's the biggest part about Harley Davidson. They had the network. If you got broke down on the side of the road, you wasn't far from one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is the good thing.
And
you can call and say,
if I had the ones in Atlanta, Jamin, I probably got about 10.
There you go. Yeah, Atlanta's got just as many as us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True there. Are you paying for the performance upgrades? Big time. Of course you pay for your performance upgrades. 4 dealers within an hour and another 2 hours from you. Yeah. But
what year did they start?
Nowhere near the dealership like Harley does.
No, and that's hurting Indian.
I think so too.
A lot of people are talking about that. That's hurting Indian. That they don't have the network. That's actually hurting them now.
Yeah, because Polaris just don't give a shit. It seems like to me.
I had mentioned it earlier when I said I had heard an interesting argument the other day. It was about Indian and Harley Davidson. This guy was hung up on 1901. Indian's been around since 1901. And I guess this old man just finally had enough. And he said, no, they haven't. He said, Indian hasn't been around since the 1950s. And he said, this ain't Indian. He said, Harley Davidson's been around longer than Indian. He said, because Indian ain't been around since about, when Polaris brought them back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah, they took like a 50-year hiatus, so yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, you can't argue with that either.
Yeah, the brand name has been out there for that long, but the actual quality and commitment to the customer, that is not. So, but yeah, at least Indian, though, they do have a cheap bike. I mean, you can get one of those Scout 60s, I think it is, for like $13,000. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. And
see, that's their considered their entry level bike.
Yeah, it's their entry level bike. Yes.
Yeah.
Unlike Harley, they don't have one.
Yeah, that's what put Honda back out into the public eye was that Rebel, the new Rebel line they brought out. Because I'm telling you, that 1100 Honda Rebel, that's a nice bike.
Yeah.
And they'll get on down the road too.
Whatever movie, Shadow.
What?
Oh.
So, and that's just their thing. My opinion, everything. This Fatboy is probably just a catalyst try to get it kicked off, but it's still not going to save them. They got, like you said, they got to make some major changes.
Yeah.
So,
I like that. I like the Fatboy. I like the anniversary Fatboy they just put out, the icon thing, but I think that was more of just a gesture. I don't really think because they did that in the same year that they introduced a $110,000 friggin' road glide. So
yeah,
they went from a high-handed gesture to a normal gesture because the icon model is the same exact price as the regular Fatboy. They didn't jack the price up on it.
Well, now when I was at my dealer the other day getting a quart of oil, they had one in there. It was already sold, and I asked. I said, "What'd they get for that?" And he said, $38,000. And I was like, "What?"
Really?
And he said, "Yeah, they got 38 grand out of it." And
Now, how much did the dealer mark that up? How
I don't
much
know
did the dealer mark that
but
up?
there was a bidding war between two guys for it, and that's why it went up.
Oh.
So yeah, I guess the dealership probably told them, "Well, we're only going to get one."
Yeah. And them two guys had stupid stamped on their forehead, and them guys at the dealership said cha-ching.
Yep. That's what I told you guys. I said it's only a $25,000 bike. I mean, why would you want to give more than that for it?
Is a sucker born every minute?
Yep. But it's just like that $110,000 road glide. They're gonna get whatever they get. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Somebody will pay that $150,000 price tag.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they've done sold all of them.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All of the $110,000 road glides have already sold. They're gone. But again, they had most of them sold before they even made them.
Yeah. Well, dagnabbit.
Here's the real question: out of all those bikes that are today, which one's going to be which person is going to be the smart one and not really ride it, and it become a collector's item, where the other ones will be trashed? You know what I'm saying?
If I bought one, I would ride it.
Dude.
Like I said, people are going to change the wheels. They're going to change the seat. They're going to change the handlebars. People with money anyway. They're going to change it. So
if I had that $110,000 road glide, I'd ride it.
Would this redefine what a rub is?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
The other Icon bikes, they weren't overpriced,
No.
They're staying in line with what they need to be, and I hope they sell them all.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think they will. I think they've already sold most of all of them. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think that I think that ST, that one that they based off of the FXR, that lowrider ST, I think it was overpriced, way overpriced.
Yeah. Yeah, some folks.
Let's break it down there. I mean, that lowrider ST frame and all the what all has on and everything, it only probably cost them with labor and everything no more than probably 21,000 to make it.
Yeah.
And
I'm a big fat guy. I mean, I'm a Fatboy fan. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a 100-year anniversary Fatboy sitting out here right now. Yeah, I ride it all the time. I'm a Fatboy fan, and this is the first bike they put out in the last 3 to 4 years that I actually thought, hey, okay, that's a good looking bike. That's something there. There's something there with that.
Are you talking about the regular one, or are you talking about the Icon?
No, I'm talking about the Gray Ghost, the one that they just did. They give a proper nod. That's what I'm saying is they give a proper nod to Willie G with that. That was proper. They should have done that. Right. Of course, it was the anniversary edition. It was, 35th anniversary edition of the Fatboy. But they give a proper nod, and I think that's what you're going to see in the next two or 3 years. You're going to see more nods like that to Willie G. If they're smart, that's what they'll do.
Well,
Time will tell.
Didn't they put the Screaming Eagle package out on a Super Glide? Wasn't that basically a CVO back in the day? Wasn't it a Super Glide that did that too?
Yeah. They did it, Jamin, right there at the end of the 90s and at the beginning of the 2000s. You had a big bunch of CVOs. You had a Road King CVO. You had a Fatboy CVO. And then they built the one. What was the one with the two headlights in the front of it? It ain't a Fat Bob. It's the predecessor of the Fat Bob. It was the one that had the red and black paint job. Some of them were red and black. Some of them were red and silver. It was a specialty model that they only did for like 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
I can't remember what that bike's called. Hey Doc, do you remember which bike I'm talking about? I think it was done like in 2000.
One that Flipnaw had?
Huh?
The one that Flipnaw had used to have?
No. This one was a.
They're staying Street Bob.
It predated the Street Bob, I think, Robert. It was 2000 maybe. It was right there at the end of 99, 2000 when they were doing all them CVO models. This one had the dual headlights up front. It had the red and silver paint scheme or red and black paint scheme, and I cannot remember what the name of that bike was. But they sold out like immediately. It could have been a Fat Bob, yeah. But they sold out immediately. I mean, they people, and you know who they sold the most of those bikes to? The people who worked in the factories. Because I've got a mechanic that lives no more. He's actually a Harley mechanic. He just retired from Harley, and he's got one of them sitting in his garage. And he said more people from the factory bought that motorcycle than they did any of the other ones.
He thinks it was the Fat Bob there.
Yeah, it could be. I could have swore they called it something other than a Fat Bob, though.
Orland Nest Chop 1/16 scale.
Well, Jamin, I hate to run, brother, but I'm going to jump out of here. I appreciate y'all letting me come on and run my mouth. Yeah, man.
Always a pleasure.
We'll keep our fingers. Yeah. We'll keep our fingers crossed, see what happens. Yeah, man. Y'all have a good night, guys. I appreciate you.
You too.
Yeah. That was good of T-Bone coming on. See you later, man.
You too.
Yeah. Yeah, you back driving now.
Yeah, I've been driving.
Yeah.
My hat off to everyone. Everything. I'm going to bow out myself because I'm about to go through a patch where I don't have no cell service.
Well, before I forget, happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If there's any mothers watching.
Rob, I will get with you later on about editing. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can share the screen or something. Figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, Dark Soul. You behave yourself. We'll see you next week, maybe.
Yeah, everyone, take care. Be safe. 2 wheels down, sunny side up. Fly straight.
Yeah, later. Dead zone. What, he was in a dead zone, you think? Now he's frozen. Or am I frozen? What am I doing here? Everything's going nuts in my computer.
I don't know what you're doing.
What are you pushing buttons, man? Later, Dark Soul always said. Yeah, tonight's Doc Harley is right there, guys. Tiger, how you been doing, buddy? Are you coming to Mobbin? There you go, Doctor. You got froze, Jamin. I got froze, huh? Okay. Well, now I'm moving. He's heading into dead zone, going into second load. Okay. All right, well, guys, I appreciate the hell out of you being here. That's what we got on the new Harley thing. It does. I'll give you some specs. Oh, now I froze again. I'll give you some specs anyway. It's got 104 horsepower, which is 3 less than the regular Fatboy. It has 120 foot pounds of torque, which is 9 pounds less than the Fatboy regular. The frame's been painted or powder coated silver. The reflection is what the paint is called. It's got slotted wheels, which I don't understand why they didn't go ahead and stick the regular wheels on it. And then it's got these leather strips that are an homage to what Willie G put on there for his Western style. That had the little fringe on the gas tank strip and on the seat. So that's what I got. Rob, you got anything for our departing people?
Nope, I've been disengaged from this for over half hour.
Oh, see how you are. What have you been doing?
I couldn't get a word in, so I just
dude, you. Man, oh man, oh man! All you gotta do is say something, and I'll shut the hell up.
I tried.
You did not. Hey, everybody in the chat, did he try? Come on, let's see what they say real quick. Anyway, next week it's on you, brother. And then are we doing the Biker Roadhouse? Because I will definitely do my best to be on this week.
We haven't talked about it. Yeah,
well, I mean, you're the one that's got to decide it.
We haven't talked about it, and we've been talking about doing a different night because Fridays and Saturdays just ain't cutting it right now.
Right.
So we'd have to wait to see what everybody would like, what night people would like to see us on.
Right, I hear you. Maybe if they go over to the Biker Roadhouse and watch an episode and comment, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. All right, guys, I'm going to end it there then. Remember to be bad, and we'll see you on Doc Harley's stream later. Peace, peeps.
All right.